Alright everyone, now time for another video involving Texas, which is the race, the Republican primary to fill the Attorney General of the state slot. It was between Kenpaxton and George P. Bush, and it's not even close. Kenpaxton utterly steamrolled him. George P. Bush didn't even pull 40%. By the way, this was pointed out the other day very helpfully by a clanker to me. This is the first time since, I believe, the 1980s that there's no Bush in or seeking any office, now that George P. Bush has lost and ended his campaign. This signals the shift in the paradigm that I've been speaking of since basically the middle of the 2010s. The Bush-Clinton sort of thing is over now. The name Bush would have pulled a lot of weight in Texas even half a decade ago. It basically, you could make an argument that Jeb Bush's disaster of a run kind of doomed the Bush family in the politically dynastic sense to secondary status. This really is the final nail, though, in the coffin of their particular dynasty. They're going to have to marry out, get a new surname, and then start running and try to revive their dynasty. Maybe Bush's daughters, George W.'s daughters, maybe they'll get into politics, and after they get marital names, it'll be funny, and they'd lose. And party girls in college, that was all over the tabloids back in the 2000s. Very, very funny at the time. I would like to point something else out, though. Link in the description, archived, of course. Please look at the number of people that voted, respectively, in the Republican and Democratic primaries for these individuals. Again, it's not even close. It's almost a 4-to-1 in favor of the GOP. This will lead directly into my new tech exclusive today, so make sure to follow me on a place like BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, or Minds to get that extra video. I'll put the pinned comment down below with the links to those sites. Put it on both videos today. Why the hell not? Anyway, this shows what I've been saying. Texas is, despite the demographics moving in a direction that's inexorably going to be socialism, it's actually swung back massively in the other direction. Same is true of Florida. The Democrats wanted to target Texas and turn it into a swing state. That, like I said, it's not going to happen. I was assured, by the way, in this last election, as of 2016, a lot of people told me Texas would go blue. Well, it didn't. It went more red. They like Trump down there. And that gets into Kenpaxton as well. Paxton was the Trump candidate. I noticed that there are a lot of people in the legacy media today reporting on the Kemp-Perdue race, because of course Kemp beat Perdue. Perdue was Trump's dude. That's really, really important. That's the bellwether of Trump's power. He must be shitting himself right now. He made big poo-poo stinkies. Orange Man is rolling on the floor crying like a fucking baby. And he's just so disappointed, and he wasted millions of dollars, and the Trump era is over. Hail whatever establishment Republican tries to primary against him in 24. Meanwhile, they're all but ignoring this particular race. This was a crushing blow to an individual with a surname that in the state of Texas, at least until recently, would have given him a boost. Kenpaxton was endorsed by Trump. He is the de facto MAGA candidate, although he's not perfect, that's for sure. Certainly better than a Bush. I was arguing the other day with one of the perennial Twitter reply guys talking about Kenpaxton being a criminal. Not even indicted with any crime, not in jail. He's not a registered felon or anything like that. I guess there's embezzlement or something like that they claim that he did. He hasn't been before court yet, though. So where's the crime? But I know about the Bush's crimes. Yeah, by the way, the other day, it was disclosed by the FBI that they foiled a plot by a man named SHIB from Iraq to try to kill George W. Bush. He was working with a terrorist group and trying to illegally get these people into the country to form like a terrorist assassination cell. Well, the FBI actually caught someone for a change that was on their radar. We'll probably find that Salvador Ramos was too and was largely ignored. Well, we'll probably find out there were mental health issues or some sort of Fed handler that was off of work that day. He passed out after having one too many Dunkin' Donuts or something. So good. As of now, there's no chance of a Bush in office for the foreseeable future. And George P. Bush, I don't think that after getting crushed this badly, he really tries to re-enter politics. To his credit, Jeb didn't. Jeb could have risen up as the Lincoln Project's anti-Trump candidate in 2020 to try to primary Trump and decided not to. Instead, it was Mick Muffin, I think, was in there, and a couple of others also rans that got a combined maybe 2% in the primaries that actually occurred. Ken Paxton is running for a position he is very likely to win. Again, based on the voting differential. 800,000 people vote in the Republican primary. Again, overwhelming for Paxton. 300,000 vote in the Democratic primary. The lopsidedness of this is considerably different than what you would expect if you were to go back 10 years and look at the trajectory of voting in Texas. In the last 4 years, it's massively swung in the other direction, partially because of economic issues. I would expect Paxton will win in the general. That's important. Having an attorney general who you've endorsed, if Trump seeks in 2024, is very helpful. Helps to put pressure on Abbott as well. Having an individual in there who can potentially bring cases before courts and prosecute people and do it well, pertinent to the border crisis potentially, Texas having a huge chunk of the southern border. To leftoid crime, which is still on the rise in parts of the West Coast. It's basically, there are parts of the city that are effectively under communist occupation, it seems. Nobody ever gets punished, no matter what crimes they actually commit. That will, I don't think, be the case in Texas. So, congratulations to the people of Texas. You've avoided having a Bush in as Attorney General. Can you imagine what a wonderful time that would be? And again, this race will be all but ignored in favor of psychoanalyzing Trump relevant to Purdue losing against Kemp. Hint, hint, Purdue was always going to lose against Kemp. It was known for a long time. The polls weren't even close. Almost less close than the polls between George P. Bush and Ken Paxton. But only one of those races is in the media right now. You'll notice it's a little bit of a lie by omission to keep up their line of MAGA being dead. That's about all. Peace out.